Last week, we started talking about guys that we should pay. We also talked about somebody that we should trade in the offseason. And one of those dominoes has fallen with Shaq being released from the team. And today, what I would like to talk about is another guy that I think going forward, should at least think about what we should do with this guy in the future. And that's going to be tackle Braden Smith. And as I've talked about before on this channel, what happened in 2022, I'm continuously, more and more just throwing that out. 2022 was a bad season for Braden Smith, worst season of his career. He had a bunch of penalties. He gave up, I believe it was 8 sacks last season. Like, all in all, 2022 for the entire Colts team, you can just throw that out, except Zaire Franklin. Zaire Franklin had a crazy year. Outside of that, everybody else pretty down year. But from what we've seen from Braden Smith this year, looking a lot more like himself. Right now, he has a 79.2 PFF rating for the 2023 season. He's played 399 offensive snaps. He has 5 penalties this year, which is not great, but he has not allowed a single sack this season, at least according to PFF, right? And with the Colts cap situation going into next season with Shaq gone, like $90 million to spend, will they find a need to move on from a guy like Braden Smith? And the question is, like, do you move on from Braden Smith and try to get something for him? There would be a trade market. The way he's playing right now, there would be a trade market for Braden Smith. Okay, but the contract numbers for him going forward, right? Something a team would have to take on. You're looking at a base salary in 2024 of 11.683 million. 2025, that number jumps up to 14.75 mil. Okay, when you add in the signing bonuses and roster bonus numbers that go into it, his cap hits in 2024 and 2025 are 16.83 million and 19.75 million. Okay, that's a lot against the cap in the future. And with Anthony Richardson on his rookie deal, we can afford to do that. But then after this offseason and whatever spending Chris Ballard decides to do between guys on the team right now that are going to need to get paid and guys that are going to be high value free agents, like, what's he going to do this offseason? And does he have enough money to do what he wants to do in the new vision with Shane Steichen to build this team around Anthony Richardson? And of course, the question that's going to come up from people is, well, if you're giving away Braden Smith, you're giving away part of his protection. Then we're going to repeat the cycle with Andrew Luck, right? And him getting in, getting sacked a bunch, getting hit a bunch, and getting injured, right? And Anthony Richardson, obviously more of a running quarterback. Andrew Luck could run, but he passed the ball. Anthony Richardson will have designed runs. So his injury risk is, of course, going to go up. We've already seen that plenty here in his rookie season. So I completely understand. That's where I get hung up on this whole thing, is wanting to make sure we're able to protect the quarterback. And if we did move on from Braden Smith, we already know who's at least most likely to step into the spot, and that'd be Blake Freeland, who played 408 offensive snaps this season in replacement of both Bernard Raymond at left tackle and Braden Smith at the right tackle. And on the season, he has 3 penalties. He gave up 2 sacks, and he's definitely given up some pressures. He has not been perfect. He's also gone against some of the best pass rushers in the league, including Myles Garrett and Josh Allen on the Jaguars. So yeah, his grade's significantly lower than what we're seeing from Braden Smith. He's also a rookie. Bernard Raymond didn't look great last year. He's been one of the best tackles in the league this year, right? Anthony Costanzo early on was bad for a couple years, ended up being amazing. So, these offensive linemen, sometimes you need to develop them. We've seen that this Shane Steichen offense can be good for offensive linemen. And we've seen enough from Blake Freeland to be promising for the future, some things to build around, some things he knows he needs to get better on, just like Bernard Raymond knew kind of going into the offseason from 2022 to 2023 what he needed to work on, and he got better at it. He went out, got stronger so that he could be more of a mauler in the run game. He's gotten better in pass protection, like much better in pass protection. So I think when you look at it, like, yeah, it might be a little rough early on, but I think if you did want to move away from a guy like Braden Smith onto Blake Freeland, I think there's an avenue to do that. Again, right now the Colts slated to have just under $90 million in cap for the 2024 offseason. And if they're able to trade Braden Smith, not cut or release him, right? If you trade Braden Smith and somebody takes the contract and you don't have to worry about dead money, then you save $16.683 million in the upcoming season. Just like that, the Colts are sitting at $106 million in cap space next offseason. So, in my opinion, right now, like I'm leaning more towards trying to find a trade partner in the offseason and give Braden Smith somewhere else, see what we can get back in return. Go ahead, start Blake Freeland and pick up free agents in the offseason, right? Start building this thing. Obviously, we need to do some things to the defense. So we need to get some guys over there. We need to re-sign some of our own guys, right? We've already talked about Michael Pittman Jr., Kenny Moore, Julian Blackman, Grover Stewart, right? Important guys to both sides of the ball that we are going to need to re-sign in the offseason. And with Shaq Leonard being cut, and if you trade Braden Smith, then you end up in a position where you can still get plenty of other guys after taking care of your own. And I think that's a very advantageous position. Anthony Richardson, that's what I keep coming back to. Anthony Richardson on his rookie deal, and we have over $100 million to spend in an offseason where T. Higgins is about to be a free agent. Okay, and the prospect of that right there excites me a lot. We're going to be talking more about free agents, and we still have some more guys to run down. You know, are the Colts going to pay this guy or that guy this offseason? We'll talk about it all in the coming days. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you get notified when those videos come out. The Colts are also going back to practice, and I'll have those practice reports for you as soon as I can get them to you. So again, subscribe with notifications on so you get notified when those videos come out as well. And with that said, as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.